Well, good morning. Happy Sunday. It is time to make the Energize do the thing. You might have noticed the past couple days I've been using packets instead of scooping it, and that's because I gave my fruit punch Energize to someone to try, and I only have fruit punch in sticks right now till mine comes in, so I'm using the sticks, but I mix lemon and fruit punch together because then it makes like a sweet tart situation, and I think that that is quite yummy in the morning. So making the Energize, doing the thing. Today we are talking about some of the parenting questions that you asked on my story a couple days ago. And I actually printed some of them off because I wanted to make sure that I touched on the ones that I could touch on and also not have this be an hour long because ain't nobody got time for that. So I am going to talk about some of the questions that you asked and then probably have to do another episode on maybe some other questions. But what I want to say from the get-go, and I hope I articulate this correctly, is I am not a parenting expert. I am an expert on my daughters, and I'm an expert on my experience. And because I have an experience that is different than a lot of parents, being a football coach's wife, moving, really being on my own all the time. There's a lot of stuff that I've figured out, and somehow, some way, some of that figuring out has led to 3 daughters who are very driven in their own ways, who are very passionate in their own ways, who have similar and yet very different interests, who have stayed out of jail so far, who are, most importantly, good humans who want to do good work. They're self-aware, they're planet aware, if that makes sense. They're aware of who they are and their impact on others. And I think that's really the best quality to have. Yeah, I mean, you can be super successful, but if you aren't doing it in a way that's really making a difference, I don't know, what's the point? So there are some things that I have done with my girls very intentionally. And I will also say, I don't know how to say this any other way, but I was probably the brunt of a lot of family jokes when I was raising my girls because I know I was. I got made fun of a lot when I was raising my girls because of the boundaries that I placed. I don't want to say how strict I was, although I was. Actually, Jessie, my youngest, won an award in school, one of those superlative awards that it was most likely to have to ask her mom if she could. Yeah, because her mom's in charge. But I was strict with them. I had a lot of boundaries on them. I had a lot of boundaries on what they could watch, what they could listen to, what they could read, because what we put in our mind is every bit as important as what we put in our body. So yeah, I was strict. We weren't watching crap and then me expecting them to be good people. So I was strict with that. I got made fun of a lot for that. I have to get something to wipe this up. I made a mess. I got made fun of a lot for that, and I don't really care because at the end of the day, I think I shared this quote before, and I think it's Kennedy Onassis who said it. If you bungle your children, if you bungle your parenting, if you bungle raising your children, nothing else that you do really matters, because we've chosen to create these humans and bring them into the world. And if we don't do our very best to raise them into amazing humans, there's really nothing else that we can do that matters. Doesn't matter if we build a great business or like my husband wins every game. If you bungle raising your children, these humans that you chose to bring into the world, I don't think anything else really matters. So just know that sometimes when you start setting boundaries that you believe are right for you and your family, because those are the only boundaries that matter, you and your family. People may not agree with them because the boundaries that I set were inconvenient to other people. They weren't inconvenient to me because that was my style of parenting, but they were inconvenient to other people. It required very intentional parenting. It required saying no. It required being aware. It required, no, you can't watch that movie or listen to that or read that book or no, you can't do that. And that is inconvenient to some parents because it's easier to say yes and let them go than to say no, have to talk about why, and then actually have to parent. So I got made fun of a lot in my family because I did set such strong boundaries. Also, you see, look at my new cup, sleigh bells and sweat, baby. Look at that, isn't that amazing? So, Emily Kraft asks, was your husband around a lot or helping while raising the girls with being a coach? Thank you for your question, Emily Kraft. I'm going to assume, and I'm saying this with love, that maybe you're a new-ish follower to me. Awesome. I love that. I love making new friends. Because Emily Kraft, I have talked multiple times about how I've done all of this 95% on my own. No, my husband was not around a lot. That's called being a collegiate football coach. And so the driving, the picking up, the organization, and as I said, when Jesse went to college this year and we kind of morphed into this empty nester, I call it moms in transition or parents in transition rather than empty nesters. His life did not change. He got up at the same time every day. He made his shake. He drove down to Butler University. He coached his 110 young men. He did all the things with his job. He came home. And the only difference was that when he came home, there wasn't a sorority meeting happening in the kitchen, as he called it. It was just me sitting at the kitchen working, and then he'd go down to the basement and he'd do his work and then come upstairs. So his life didn't change. But when the girls got all moved in August, it was the week right before Labor Day, and I came home, my life changed drastically because now no longer am I taking anyone to school, picking up anyone from school, writing checks, worrying about every single tiny, minute detail that happens with children. That's what I had in my brain. And suddenly I didn't have that anymore. His life did not change. My life changed drastically. So Emily Kraft, to answer your question, no, he was not around a lot. It's not like he lived in another country, but he's not around a lot. So the parenting fell mostly to me, and I took that on, and I took that job very seriously, which is why I set such strict boundaries, which is why I was very intentional about what they were reading, listening to, doing, who they were hanging out with, what they were eating. Like I was very intentional about that because I really felt the responsibility of it on me. And I would always laugh now, not then, but when I would have this, I don't know what to do. I'm not really sure how to manage this parenting situation. And I would say to my husband, like, look, you could go down to your office, and if you have an issue with one of your players, you go into your staff and however many of you sit around and discuss what to do. When Jenna takes the play scissors and cuts Josie's hair, and it's just me holding Jesse, trying not to freak out, there's nobody for me to ask. I got to figure it out on my own. Because that happened. So he wasn't around. I figured it out on my own. I was very intentional about boundaries. I was very intentional about making sure that I was also taking care of me. And moms, that's okay. You got to take care of you. I was very intentional about making sure I was taking care of me, that I was doing something for me. And that really came from advice I got early on as a football coach's wife, not necessarily as a parent. Just as a football coach's wife, this lifestyle can be so encompassing and so consuming that you need to have something for you. I got that advice when we first got married. I spoke about it on an IGTV early in August, and finding something that is purely for you and may or may not change your family's life. It doesn't matter. When I started teaching group fitness, it was just purely for me. I didn't know that it was going to change my family's life. It was just changing me. It was making me better. And then lo and behold, it ended up changing my family's life. But I knew I needed something for me. So I took that mindset into my parenting as well. I got that advice as a football coach's wife. So in my marriage relationship, but I took that mindset of you better have something for you into my parenting relationships too. And I think my girls would be the first to tell you that they are my absolute priority. I build my business and structure my life for and with them. With is crucial too. For and with them. They are my priority in helping them become the amazing humans that I know they can be, but they are not the center of my universe. I have goals and dreams myself too. I have stuff I want to accomplish in my life too that is separate from raising them, although everything is connected. You cannot be a good parent if you're not also trying to be a good human. You cannot be a good spouse if you're not also trying to be a good human. You cannot be a good business owner, a good anything if you're not also trying to be a good human. Fortunately, my business pushes and inspires me to become a better human, so that then helps me become a better mom and a better spouse. It all works together, which is beautiful, but I have that for me. So, no, my husband wasn't around a lot. I figured everything out. We would have some conversations at night. By that point, I'd already figured it out. And you know what? You can. There's very little in life that you can't figure out. You can figure it out. Okay. This, I think this is a two-part that Kat asked. How did you encourage your daughters to work out and eat healthy without them feeling like you were preaching or hurting them? Okay, so number one, this is in regard to any relationship. Are you preaching at them or are you trying to be hurtful? If the answer is no, then you can't control what someone else thinks. Period. If you're preaching at them or you're trying to be hurtful or coming at a place where you're trying to shame them into doing something, then what are you doing? That's not good parenting. That's just not being a good human. But if you model healthy eating and working out, they see that growing up. It becomes just what they do. So for example, hold please. Gosh, it feels like it was 25 years, no, practically. It was, because Jen will be 23. Just from the get-go with children, I was always working out. It was always going to be a priority. I didn't really make the connection between my mental and physical health till a little bit later, but I've always been a person who can't sit still. So I was always going to move and work out, whether it was Cindy Crawford VHS tapes or the Firm or Walk, whatever. So on our registry, when we had kids, number one, I wanted a rugged outdoor stroller. And then when we had another one, I wanted a rugged two-seater outdoor stroller. And then I wanted a really new, good baby Bajorn so I could two-seat him and carry the baby. And it was just always going to be a part of our lives. So in the beginning, when they're little, and you know, fitness has to look different when you have children and you move through the seasons of your life, it was just get in the stroller, put your Fisher Price, whatever headphones on. We're listening to Tom Chapin or a book on tape or Harry Potter or something. And off we go, and we're walking. And so from the beginning, from babies, all through their lives, we've been moving and working out's a part of their life. If that hasn't been your situation, that's okay. Start today. Choose again. Choose today to be the day that you start making fitness a priority. 10, 20, 30 minutes a day. It's okay. Do it with them. I was pushing them in strollers. We were going for bike rides. So the key to not feeling like they're being preached at or hurting them is don't preach at them and don't come from a shameful place. Take care of you first, because you can't tell someone else what to do if you're not doing it yourself. You cannot tell your children you don't need to be eating those chicken nuggets, or you really need to be getting some exercise if you are not doing that, period. So if you want someone in your life to do something, you have to model that first, and you have to take care of you first. And they're either going to catch up with you or they're not. And guess what? They are their own person, and you can't control that. So my biggest encouragement to you as a parent is, if you want your children, you know, being healthy and fit, you be healthy and fit. You, not you go spend 25 hours in the gym. You be healthy and fit. You make fitness a priority. You make eating right a priority, and you just talk about it like, well, this is just what we do. This is what we do. So those are two questions for today. In an effort to not make this hours and hours long, I'm going to stop there, but I'll pick up that last one a little bit later with another IGTV. And then there's a couple others, like how to fuel your children's dreams and help them discover their dreams, and how to help with sibling rivalry. So I'll tackle those later, but I hope today was helpful. Talked a little bit on figuring out, talked a little bit on modeling. And if you've got more questions on parenting that I can share my experiences with, keep them coming, because I want to create stuff that helps you.